First of all of you may have had any contact with innovation as a word that is all around us in a daily life and also in businesses and management in general. I work with psychology of work and organizational psychology. And with this term so overused today, nowadays, I came to worry about what does psychology have to say about innovation, as it's all spread as a very important tool for businesses and also for organizations. And so I began to study the contributions of the cognitive and social psychology. And when I began, I just made a small research. What was written about this in psychology in the last 2 or 3 years or 4 years now? And there was none, nothing, or almost nothing was written about this subject. So I went back to the theoretical framework, and I just selected 2 important things that are very, very well known in psychology: Gestalt theory, but Eistelunk effect is not so well known. So you're gonna see why this focus. And in cognitive psychology, I chose Piaget. Piaget, Switzerland theoretical scholar, very well known. What about Gestalt? Gestalt is a theory that says that our perception of what is new can vary and has to be analyzed through the ground and figure, and also Gestalt understands and proposes the laws of meaningful perception, and in this apparently chaotic world, that is the word of innovation. Exactly, this is the word that we live now. What is chaotic and has to be meaningful, understood, in order to create something new. It means innovate. The central principle of Gestalt psychology is that the perception forms global wholes with self-organizing tendencies or trends. This is the most famous figure in Gestalt, but also this one is very important in this study, because all of them, you see the differences between ground and figure in order to see what is perceived, what is seen in any of these cases. If you focus here in the black, you're gonna see 2 faces. If you focus on the white, you're gonna see candle, or not a candle, but something, a calendar, to put the candles, right? And this is the perception of new also. What is new? What is, innovation is based on new. What is new? In the law of past experience, Gestalt says that under some circumstances, the visual stimuli are categorized according to past experience. So if two objects tend to be observed within close proximity or small temporal intervals, the objects are more likely to be perceived together. This is very important because to be new, to innovate, something has to detach from others that are the old, right? And so proximity and small temporal intervals can be crucial. Gestalt also contributes to the study of innovation mindset because of the distinction between productive thinking and reproductive thinking. The productive thinking focuses on solving a problem with insight. And the reproductive thinking that is the most common in daily life is solving a problem with previous experiences and what is already known. So reproductive thinking is far away from innovating, right? And productive thinking, yes, the reproductive thinking focus on the most common thinking, and productive thinking is quick, insightful, unplanned response to situations and environment interaction. Gestalt also studies an effect called Eistelunk effect, and this is kind of bias in our perception. And it explains the development of mechanized state of mind. Eistelunk refers to a person's predispositions to solve a given problem in a specific manner, even though better or more appropriate methods of solving the problem exist. So the person insists on a specific manner, even though there were better or more appropriate methods of solving the problem. The Eistelunk effect is the negative effect of previous experience when solving new problems. So anytime that a new problem is presented, the Eistelunk effect comes to be a crystallized mindset. Brain tries to solve problems efficiently, but the solution may be not the most efficient one. I brought here for you also a test that is, I'm sorry. I let it very prepared, but sorry. Oh gosh. Okay, yeah, here it is. And I would ask for volunteers, but it's gonna be difficult in this virtual section. And so let's see what this test it's a very simple test. And you have to match, let's say, this one, and it's okay. And this one, it's okay, because the star, the figure, the form is more important. But you're gonna see that sometimes the formula changes No, because it's not the blue that counts. See? Let's say, yeah. And it goes on changing, and the formula, and the person can persist in the error because she has the previous formula. Or I'm gonna stop this and go back to my presentation so that you can see that the Eistelunk mindset, oh, sorry, let's close this in order to go back. You can see that the Eistelunk effect is the negative effect of previous experience when solving new problems. So that test comes with new problems all the time, but the formula, the previous formula that could be effective to solve the previous formula, the previous problem, is not any effective anymore. But the crystallized mind remains in the previous formula. So this is the negative effect of previous experience when solving new problems. And this is very much problematic for who is dealing with innovation. This test, Wisconsin card sorting test that I just show you, can give us the results of three types of errors. I mean, two types of errors: perseveration errors, when you keep applying the old rules, and non-perseveration errors. And also it gives us the total number errors. I made a research in an accelerator that is one of the environments, along with incubators, that deals with startups and all the innovation and entrepreneurship environment that today is really important for business. So I studied an accelerator's call. They had 20 slots. They received 100 inscriptions, and I applied this test, and I could see the error, the type number 1, or error, the type number 2. Error type number 1 was when they approve a startup to be accelerated, and because it fulfills some of the criteria, but it is not the best shot, the best choice, sorry. And the error type 2 is when they do not approve a very good candidate, and as an effect of the Eistelunk mindset. I also consider in my research the point of view of Johnson Laird, who deals with mental models, and he describes the inference as a natural cognitive mechanism, but inference is used, but it's valid if and only if there is no interpretation of the premises that falsifies the conclusion. And he gives us an cue that you have to systematically search for counter examples when you are trying to solve a problem, because otherwise this crystallized mindset is going to overcome your reasoning. Also, Piaget was used as a framework, a theoretical framework. And as you can see here in the design thinking, we deal with feasibility, viability, and usability or desirability. Né? This is innovation. Innovation is at this point, in the central point, and when the three match. And those are the elements that affect the decision making in this kind of innovation environments. And when we talk about viability and feasibility, we also are speaking of possibilities, and Piaget can also help us a lot, saying what is possible. And there are 2 volumes of this book, Possibility and Necessity, from Piaget, where he discusses what is possible, and what is necessary. And also he proposes the pseudo possibilities and pseudo impossibilities, and he discusses pseudo necessities. What is this exactly? What is impossible for the subject? There are the subjective impossible, the logical, and the physical impossibility. But all of them can lead the subject to dead ends when the pseudo impossibilities are present. The necessary is what the subject considers that is necessary. Is it necessary for a table to have this format, or is this something that is possible nowadays, but we can have other formats of a table? So this is what necessary is about, what the subject considers necessary. For example, I chose this machine, the photograph machine, Polaroid, and the invention in 1943 from Edwin Land. He was spending a day taking pictures of the 3-year-old daughter, and at the end of the day, he asked himself, why do I have to wait for the photos to be developed? And was it possible to not wait for the photos to be developed? Or was it necessary that all machines, all photographers, or all the photograph machines use films to be developed? Necessary is a product of the inferential compositions of the subjects, and it's non-observable. The stereotypes we also use are not always necessary. It's not necessary to be that way, but we stereotype, and this can lead to pseudo-necessities. So possible and necessary are related to real, but they are at the subject, not at the real. So what is virtual is the actualization of possible. And we have to be very careful with these reasonings because of the pseudo-necessities. So possible and necessary for Piaget is studied during child's development, when the child faces unexpected problems, which is the same an adult that works with innovation faces unexpected problems. And the possible and the necessary are deductive models constructed by the subject. But each composition leads or can lead or may lead to new possibles, or as the elements are combined. The pseudo-necessity are very common for the pre-operatory subjects. The pseudo-impossibilities can be seen as when the subject believes, oh, this word is wrongly written, and believes wrongly that something is impossible. And those pseudo-necessities impose strong and arbitrary limitations in cognitive aspects to see what is possible or what can be different from what the subject considers necessary. So impossible or possible are two ways of the two possible ways that the brain conceives something, which is very important for innovation. The developing phases of Piaget leads to more and more complex mental operations in the structures, the cognitive structures are being constructed over and over. And at the adult, I'm sorry. Oh, the last stage, the formal operational stage for Piaget leads to enrichment and flexibility of thought. This will be the best kind of cognitive structure for innovation. So, in short, mindset of innovation it's necessary the cognitive flexibility, the search for counter examples all the time, and the productive thought, not the reproductive thought. That is the conclusion of my research. That thank you very much, and I'll be okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that presentation, Dr. Lisete. That was very informative. It was great learning from you. So the next presenter we have up is Dr. Marguerite Rose.